Welcome back to the session on Karma Yoga. In our first session, we saw that when we get into conflicts, when we have to face extremely demanding situations, when we get challenges in our lives, we want to run away. The first advice from Shri Krishna, the Lord of Yoga, is that you should not run away from action. No doubt, our ultimate goal is to reach that silence, that Naishkarmya sthiti, the state of transcendence and that infinite pure silence. But you cannot reach that silence, you cannot reach that Naishkarmya sthiti, the state of non-action, by relinquishing action. Why? Because we are all made out of the three gunas, and even if we want to remain quiet, we can't keep quiet. Our gunas will propel us. If you are tamas predominant, laziness, lethargy, drowsiness, sleepiness, then you will just sleep off. Your mind will not become quiet. If on the other hand, if you are extremely dynamic, rajasic character, then you cannot sit quiet. Inside there is so much of rush. Come on, get out, run. If you are very sattvic, there is wonderful scheming to the spread of good action everywhere. That is, bring ideal social orders by systematic planning and all that planning. Therefore, Krishna says, not even a single moment you can remain quiet. Nahi kaschit kshanam api jato atishtatya karma krit. Therefore, what is to be done? Don't try to control your karmendriyas and jnanendriyas and try to remain quiet. On the other hand, control the indriyas through the mind and start performing actions. Discharge the responsibilities, but start performing the action in a very special way. And that special way is Karma Yoga. What is that special way? Asaktaha saha vishishyate, unattached action, performing all actions with complete objectivity, as if you are a witness, with detachment. Well, it is very easily said than done. Is it ever possible? How is it to be done? Karma Yoga says, all right, start performing all actions as duty. Karmanyevadhikaraste. And then, while performing your duty also, see that your action is good for the society, good for the people, and that is called sattvic action. Doing good to others is the key feature of Karma Yoga. While performing our duties, do the right action. Doing good to others is featured by renunciation and service. Swami Vivekananda said these are the twin ideals of India. And he said, in the process of rebuilding this nation, the country will not be rebuilt if we build skyscrapers, industries, or make the country very rich and affluent. On the other hand, we have to bring in this dimension of renunciation, service, the twin ideals of Bharat, and that is featured by compassion, daya, sharing, dana, control over the senses, dhamma. And that is how we can move from selfishness to lesser selfishness, or call it as enlightened selfishness. This is how there is a move from the self-centered activity towards a non-self-centered activity or less self-centered activity. And these are the sattvic actions. Even Patanjali gives yama and niyama as the foundations for yoga. Yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara. A set of do's and set of don'ts, yama and niyama. 5 yamas, 5 niyamas, make it 10. And look at the coincidence of the 10 commandments of Christ and the 10 dimensions of dharma prescribed by Manu in our country. All 10, 10, 10. That is called as dharma. All these 10 can be condensed into only 3: charity, compassion, and self-restraint. To illustrate this point, there is a very interesting episode. Once the gods and goddesses, the human beings and the demons all go to the big Lord Vishnu. Please give us some good advice. And he looks at the demons, says, thou for you, human beings, thou for you, devatas, thou for you. Everybody understands and comes back. What did the demons understand? The Rakshasas says, we have become extremely cruel, cut, beat, terrorize and aggrandize ourselves with our ego and exploit others. So the great Lord has told, be compassionate, daya. What about the gods and goddesses? You people are all the time in 5-star or superstar culture, comforts, damsels, the Kamadhenu and so on. So he says, please don't be a slave to your sense organs, control and the senses, Dhamma. What about for the human beings? We have become extremely selfish. You don't care for others. This is what we see nowadays. We live in big skyscraper buildings. We live in apartments. We don't know who lives next apartment. Much less we know who all live in this apartment complex. And we don't care. If somebody comes and asks, hey, do you have some Mukherjee by your side? No, I don't care. No, what Mukherjee is it? And that is the selfishness into which we have entered. So the great Lord has said, please don't become so selfish. Bring in a little dimension of selflessness. Start sharing your possession, dana. So the 3 das, daya, dhamma, dana. Daya is compassion. Dana is charity. Dhamma is self-restraint, control over the inner senses. These 3 form the foundation of all the 10 sattvic actions. That is called the dharma. And Swami Vivekananda said all these 3 things can be further reduced into only 2, renunciation and service, tyaga and seva. And by so doing, we are converting actions into sattvic actions. What is the way by which we convert every action into a sattvic action? It is incorporating these values. This is what all religions professed. This forms the foundation of all religions. The basic aspects of all religions, look at them. The 10 commandments of Christ, the 10 dimensions of dharma of Manu, the 10 aspects of Yama, Niyama prescribed by Patanjali at the basis and foundation of yoga. What are they? Yamas, a set of don'ts. Ahimsa, Satya, Asteya, Brahmacharya, Parigraha. Ahimsa is non-violence. Satya is no untruth. Asteya is non-stealing. Brahmacharya is no immoral sex. Aparigraha, non-possessiveness. Then what are the prescriptions? The niyamas. Shaucha, Santosha, Tapas, Swadhyaya, Ishwar, Pranidhana. Shaucha is purity. Santosha is happiness and satisfaction. Tapas, penance. Swadhyaya, self-introspection, self-study. And Ishvara Pranidhana, the surrender to the ultimate Lord or reality. And Patanjali says we have to follow these 10 norms, set of 5 don'ts and 5 do's. And one of the wonderful features of yoga is maintain that santosha, that happiness all the time, whatever work we are doing, and that is the biggest of yoga. Smile on the face, relaxation in the body. Can we maintain that? Often we blame others, we do not look at what we have, what problems we have, self-introspection is lacking. So he says, Swadhyaya, Swadhyaya means let us look at ourselves whether there is the problems inside, what are the imbalances inside, and before we blame the world and outside, let us correct ourselves. These are the 10 dimensions and they call all this at the basis of religions. But this sattva aspect called as dharma, featured by dana, daya and dhamma, sharing, compassion and restraint of the external organs, cannot be forced into the society. It has to be evolved, and that is what the religions did. Manu also prescribed the 10 dimensions of dharma: dhriti, kshama, damaha, asteyam, shaucham, indriya nigraha, dhihi, vidya, satyam, akrodha, dashakam, dharma lakshanam, he said. These are the 10 dimensions of dharma, and this became the prevalent dimensions of dharma followed in India for many centuries. Dhruti is steadfastness, kshama is forgiving, dhamma is control over the external organs, asteyam is non-stealing, shaucham is purity, indriya nigraha, control over the senses, dhihi, proper understanding, discrimination power, vidya, good wisdom, satyam, integrity and honesty, akrodha, non-anger, dashakam, the 10 lakshanam, the dimensions of dharma. So look at the coincidence, all the 10. So we have the 3 personality traits, tamas, rajas and sattva. This form our entire personality. Every one of us is a combination of these 3, but in some rajas may predominate, in some the sattva may predominate, then we are called as rajasic or sattvic. Not that all 100% is rajasic, not all 100% is sattvic, tamasic also cannot be 100%. And these 3 personality traits show up in all our not only actions, but in the type of food that we like, the type of body that we possess, the type of mind that we have, that percolates into all aspects of our existence. And these things have been defined in great depth in the Bhagavad Gita. What is the type of food that a tamasic person likes? Yatayamam, gatarasam, puti, paryushitam, old, putrefied, smelling. People cannot eat fresh. They are the type of tamasic food. What about rajasic food? A lot of the spices and ushna, tikshna, rukshna, vidahinaha, full of heat. Some people would like to have coffee, but the coffee should be steaming hot. If it is a little less, then they won't enjoy. They cannot hold it with a hand. They have to take a kerchief and then take it. Rajasic. Varieties and varieties of spices, Italian, Mexico and Indian and the Punjabi, varieties and varieties, and it will be strong, pungent, full of saline thing, rajasic food. So the food also is part of the personality trait. Similarly, the body, what type of body we have? The body which is very heavy, doesn't want to move, often obeys, that is the tamasic. Rajasic body, very thin and all the time in speed, the muscles are stiff, tight, the face is tight and grim. Sattvic body, highly relaxed, nice smile on the face and often full of lightness and bliss. So the 3 personality traits, the 3 gunas have been knit into all our actions, every food, every body, muscles, in our mind as well. Now we have to understand the dimension of the rajasic action and the sattvic action more vividly. The 2 terms that are used in yoga, in karma yoga, is nyaya and dharma. Nyaya is at the level of give and take. It is in the rajasic dimension. I do so much of work for you, you give me so much of salary, and I give you a nice party today, I expect that you give me a party back. I spend lot of money for you, but soon the elections are coming. Any work that I do, any offering I do, always there is expectation of a return. I have lots of money, I give money on charity, but I prescribed a condition, can you put my name on the building that you built? All this come under the Nyaya level. There is always a sense of give and take, and this forms the foundation of jurisprudence that forms the dimension of the law, that the region of Rajas, Nyaya. And this can be forced and is being forced into the society. If you go against the law, if you go against the Nyaya, you are punishable. You earn the right royal way, if you go the corrupt way, yes, you are punishable. The tamasic dimension has to be shattered and Nyaya has to be established in the society. All the courts, everything, and the book of jurisprudence and the whole stream of law has been set to establish the Rajas in the society, to shatter the tamas in the society, because we as tamasic people often would like to skip, often would like to do a shoddy job, often would like to do escapism, and that is what has to be taken with an iron hand. That is the code, the law. But the dharma featured by dana, daya and dhamma, that is the region of sattva. Now, the region of sattva cannot be forced into the society by the courts or by the book of jurisprudence, because it is much higher. It should evolve voluntarily. The people should take to the dharma voluntarily. Let me give you a simple example to illustrate the difference between Nyaya and Dharma. There is a bank manager, a very efficient person, and he does his job excellently well, and he is earning about 50,000 rupees a month. He has got his wife and 2 children, so he has made a good house. Every month he knows what is the total expense for the house. It is about 8,000 rupees. So he brings 10,000 rupees, gives the amount to his wife and says, please manage, and the house goes on smoothly, and he is earning, he is living through right royal means. He has no cheating, he has no corrupt practices. He collects all the money. At the end of the year, he has accumulated almost 5 lakhs of rupees. Now he takes off his earned leave, 21 days, he goes into a 5-star hotel alone and spends all the money that he has gained in enjoyment in a 5-star hotel, and drinking and making himself merry, using all the sense pleasures, and he is a Nyayavan. He cannot be punished by any sense of law. That is the region of Rajas. Whereas he is not a Dharmavan, because he has no control on his senses. He has become a slave to his senses. Dhamma is not there, and magnanimity is not there, service is not there, love and compassion is not there, charity is not there. Therefore, he does not come to the realms of sattva, but he is in the region of Rajas. That is the difference between Nyaya and Dharma, that we have to clearly understand. So, Karma Yoga takes us from Nyaya to the Dharma level. So, to be lawful and to follow the justice, to have integrity in business, to have selfishness, is still all under the region of Rajas. It is in the realm of Nyaya, and that is the one that is always praised in the society, and you are able to achieve great things even with this Rajasic dimension. From there you have to go to the next level, that is Sattva, reduced selfishness or enlightened selfishness. Why? Why should one move from Rajas to Sattva? We saw already Krishna gives the example saying that if you work the Rajasic way, you are bound to get into tensions and stresses. Kriyate bahulayasam tad rajasamudahrutam, said. And therefore, you have to go doing the better way of action. Therefore, he says, kamya karma, doing actions in the Rajasic way, all the time being motivated with name, fame, money, is much inferior to the Buddhi Yoga, that is the Sattvic action and beyond. And therefore, he says, take refuge in Karma Yoga, that is intelligent action, a better way of working, and that is the one that gives us greater dividends. Well, is it not only an utopia? Is there a proof? Are there examples in which people have been able to use Karma Yoga in modern times? Yes. Look at the whole management scenario. The management started with the management by objectives called MBO, in which objective or the result, the end point is most important and not the process. So what do people do? All right, I want to produce 10,000 cars, I call for tender, and I know which is the best price, I will allot the contract to that person. I don't care how he produces, but I want only the result. If he is able to deliver the goods at the end of the year, 10,000 cars, and at the quality that has been prescribed, well, I give now the second set of contract to him. If he doesn't give us the result, then probably I will change the contractor. Management by objective. That has been in vogue for centuries, and the whole business, everything is going around MBO. But then the new methodology came up in Japan, the total quality management, the famous TQM, in which process is emphasized and not just the result. Result will come automatically. Result will come as a corollary to the theorem. The theorem is the duty sense. What do they do here? They also want to achieve the result, but result should come as a byproduct. If the Americans sell the car at $40,000 with 1 year warranty, the Japanese business companies, the automobile industries, they said, we are going to manufacture equal quality cars and we will sell it for $30,000 and we will give 2 years warranty. And how could they achieve this? By continuously improvising the process of manufacture, emphasis on the quality of the product, quality of each and every part of the automobile, should go on improvising, and all the people in the industry who were working were made to participate creatively to improvise the quality. Kaizen, continuous improvement, and regular checking of each and every process, and see that the process brings the right effect. At the end, they were able to achieve, and we know how a small island like Japan became the biggest of the economic giant, winning over biggest of the automobile industries in the United States. How did that happen? They followed a process-oriented management system in comparison to the result-oriented system. Therefore, it is very well proven that Karma Yoga, or the work done with emphasis on the process, will be far superior than the work done with only the result orientation. And the next step from there, we are going into the holistic systems management, in which the duty sense plus effortlessness has been emphasized. Not only the quality of the products are important, but the quality of life also is important. What is happening to many of the Japanese industries where they adopted TQM and won over the whole world and became economic giants? Most of the people, though they get lot of creative satisfaction, they are getting stuck with lot of tensions and stresses, and even there is the element of different diseases coming up, and therefore you have to go higher. What is that quality of life? Quality of life is featured by better health, harmony, love and bliss. How can we achieve that? Karma Yoga says, perform your duty effortlessly. Even while performing your duty, it may happen that you may get tensed up because of your tremendous attachment to the duty itself. You become a perfectionist, and your attachment to the perfectionist attitude itself may cause problem. Therefore, you must learn how to perform all your actions in a very sensitive way, with all the responsibility, almost bordering on perfection, yet with complete mental equipoise, with effortlessness, and effortlessness features Karma Yoga. Therefore, we must learn how to move from tamas to rajas and from rajas to sattva for more efficiency, greater ease and effortlessness, and from sattva to gunatita sthiti. We have to transcend even the gunas to reach the higher states of aesthetics, and that is what we have to do in all our actions. How can we do that? What are the techniques? The techniques of growth in Karma Yoga prescribes that use rajas to overcome the tamas. Rajas is brilliance, sharpness, intelligence, dynamism, with full of desires and selfishness. Infuse desires, infuse selfishness in the people who are extremely in tamas, steeped in stagnation, lethargy, drowsiness and sleepiness. Show them the wonderful attractive features, and it will bring them towards the rajasic state. I remember some of the students who were extremely dull, had gone to United States. They had taken almost 3 attempts to pass a graduation, but when they went, they were so attracted to all the facilities they are able to get if they pass, and they started working hard, and not only working hard for the study, working hard to earn their living. They go there and wash the dishes in a restaurant and make their living, at the same time study on this side. Amazing. The people not only passed in the first attempt, but they made laurels. How did that happen? That is the attraction of rajas. That is the power of sense attractions, the incentives, the desires and selfishness. But then once you come to the rajas, Krishna says, control the rajas, channelize the rajas by promoting sattva. All right, you earn a lot of money, but start sharing your wealth with your family, with your relatives and friends, and for the nation and the society. That is sattva dimension. And we have to even purify sattva to go beyond the gunas and learn to work in tune with the cosmic order, the ruta, that is the highest stage of growth in Karma Yoga. Therefore, Karma Yoga starts off generally with Kamya Karma, desire-oriented action, result-oriented action, with tremendous attachment to get more name, more fame, more money. I want to become a millionaire, I want to become a billionaire, has been the emphasis. And from there go to the next level, perform all actions in the form of a duty, duty-oriented society. From there start doing the duty for the good of others, for building the nation, for building the society. And in our country, therefore, duties were prescribed to everyone. It became a Kartabyanishta Samaj. And how to bring about this in a very large way to everyone in the society. Our ancient seers, thousands of years back, had evolved a technology called yajna. And this yajna converted every normal action into a karma yoga. And what is this yajna way of action? That is the third dimension by which we can convert karma into karma yoga. I call this as the technology of the Vedic age. Everybody was prescribed yajnas, and yajnas can be created to achieve any result. Anything that you want today in modern times, we have different industries. Industry to manufacture this pen, industry to manufacture this wristwatch, industries and industries to produce each and everything that we want, the computers, the televisions, the VCRs and what not. And what do we do here? We do the research and bring about a blueprint, and we install the machines, and the people have to just follow the checklist. They have to do all the actions according to the prescription. A set of do's and don'ts have been prescribed. When you go there, you must go on turning your nuts and the valves and the bodybuilding. In an automobile industry, everybody does the things according to the do's and don'ts, and nobody is allowed to ask, why should I do that? If somebody asks, all right, go there to the research section and they will give you all the answers. Here, only you have to do all the actions meticulously with proper monitoring, proper statistical control, and so on. At the end, you get the desired result. Your beautiful car comes out of your industry, very nice motorcycles come out of it, and that is the industry that we have. In the same way, thousands of years back in our country, in India, there were prescription of yajnas. The yajnas prescribed the physical level, the place where the yajnas have to be done. You cannot do the yajnas wherever you want, and the time of the yajnas have to be prescribed, and the shape of the yajna, kunda, where the fire has to be invoked, and placing of the persons in the specific places, everything is prescribed, complete checklist of what is to be done, what is not to be done, just like in a modern industrial assembly section. And there are great seers, there are great yoga masters who used to build up different yajnas depending on the need. They will ask the person who is going to perform the yajna, what do you want out of this yajna? The person will say, sir, I don't have a son, I want a yajna to get a son, putra kameshti yaga you do. I don't have money, sir, I want to get lot of money and wealth, though I am a king. Our country, our nation is, our small kingdom is suffering from want of money. All right, my dear king, I am going to give you a yajna called Kubera yajna, which can give you all the wealth, and so on and so forth. Anything you want, you have a yajna developed for that. But unfortunately, the whole technology has gone, and we have to unravel the mystery if we want to really understand the secrets of yajna. But what has been prescribed in performance of yajna is the positioning, and at the physical level, everything has been prescribed with great meticulous care. Why? Normally at the tamasic level, things are very haphazard, we are ignorant, and we throw away things here and there. In some of the kitchens I have gone, and it is so systematic, beautifully organized and well kept and so aesthetics. But in some of the kitchens everything is thrown here and there. You can see the personality manifesting even in kitchens and dining halls, and therefore the personality of tamas has to be transformed into the rajas through systematization. So what is done here? All those who perform the yajna should do the yajna exactly the way it has been prescribed, and when they do that, slowly their mentality will change to be systematic, to grow continuously in a planned way, and the place has been fixed, and the time when it has to be started is prescribed. The shape of the Yajna Kunda, whether it is a trapezoid, whether it is a square, whether it is round, everything will be prescribed by the persons who perform. And then where the person has to sit, the person who performs the Yajna and his wife, and where are the Yajamanas and others sit, the perform Maharshis, where should they sit, everything has been prescribed. Then comes the diet, control over the senses, Dhamma, and you cannot just take coffee in the morning or tea in the morning until the Yajna is over. You cannot take even a drop of water. Control over the external senses, Dhamma has been brought into order. And then you go to the next level, at the prana level. Every Yajna has got specific mantras. Every ritual is featured by specific mantras, and mantras are special patterns of sound resonance which bring about special effects, and this brings resonance with the cosmic forces, and also internally it resonates and brings about the specific results that are needed. Then at the mind level, the person who performs should have full concentration. He should perform the whole Yajna with nice relaxation. There should not be tensions and stresses. Therefore, the Maharshis who would make them perform the Yajnas, we look at them and continuously involve them in various activities. All right, now you stand up and both of you go around the Yajna. Now you sit down. Now you take so much of rice and put it into so much of ghee and put the whole thing into the fire. While the mantras are chanted, when the cosmic forces are invoked, all these things have been put as oblation to the fire. Therefore, concentration and relaxation is key feature here. Then emotion level. At the emotional level, they say you should not become angry. You should have total faith. There should be the aspect of surrender, of bhakti. When you perform a Yajna, you can't afford to become angry. Come what may, whatever may happen, whatever may be the demanding situation, whatever may be the calamity that may occur outside, you are not allowed to become angry. Similarly, you must have fullest of faith in what you are doing, and you must totally surrender to the injunctions and the prescriptions given by the Maharshis. No questions asked. It is all a set of do's and don'ts. And to see that all these things are done meticulously, there is the fear of wrath of gods. If you don't do these things, then not only that you don't get the result, probably you will get a boomerang effect. You will get a curse from the cosmic forces, and people are terrified and they perform all things the way it has been prescribed. Even a small single mistake anywhere in the whole Yajna performed will fail to give the result. Therefore, people become extremely sensitive and very meticulous in performing the things. And if they do that, they have got that desire fulfilled. There is a wonderful incentive of having the desires fulfilled, they get the result here. Dasharatha got 4 wonderful children through the Payasam. Those were the days where Yajna was the highly developed technology at the Vedic times. And to make it prevalent at a social level, the 5 main Yajnas have been prescribed. These are essentially fulfilling the obligations in our lives. Brahma Yajna. Brahma Yajna is our obligations towards the knowledge. Not only that we should acquire the knowledge and the wisdom through education, through our teachers and gurus, but it was mandatory on the part of the people to share their knowledge and wisdom with the right of students. Deva Yajna, our obligations towards nature. We have to protect the nature. Unfortunately, we have misused our natural resources. we are depleting our natural resources in our anxiety to acquire more and more, and as a result we have big pollution problem. We have to bring in the dimension of ecology, and that is the prevalent thing now. Next, the third is the Pitru Yajna. Pitru Yajna is our obligations towards our parents, our ancestors, our elderly people. Unfortunately, today, the world over, we have lost respect for them and we do not care for them. In old age homes, it is such a pathetic situation. The sons and daughters do not take care of their parents when they become old, and as a result of that, the people are put into the old age home, and the old age home preclude them from all the love they get from their sons and daughters, from their grandchildren. And imagine a wonderful combined family, all people living together. Because of the technological growth and the people getting jobs in different places, one son getting job in New York, the second son getting job in Los Angeles, the third one is in Detroit. The parents are left to themselves. The repercussions of such a social setup has made the parents get isolated, and when they get old, they are left in the old age homes and deprived of the great love which keeps and makes their later ages so enjoyable. So, this is the type of obligations that yoga prescribes, and you can serve them in their old age homes. And many of our yoga classes, many of our yoga teachers who go to the old age home give them lot of solace by giving them counseling and giving lot of solace. The next is our obligations towards the society, towards the guests, and that is the Atithi. Who is a real guest? A guest is one who goes without any prior appointment. Today in the modern society, even when we are very, very close friends, we have to phone and tell, okay, I am going to come day after tomorrow, is it okay for you? The person will say, no, day after tomorrow, I have got an appointment already fixed up, therefore, please, why don't you come on a Sunday? This has become the thing. But whereas in the real society, we have tremendous hospitality for the guests, and such a thing is prevalent even today in the rural India and countryside in many of the developing countries. Anybody who goes there are welcomed with open arms, and even they could be the poorest of the poor, having hardly a grub to eat or one meal a day, and they have big families, but with so much of love, so much of affection, they call the guests and feed them and give them to their great utter satisfaction. It may mean that they may deprive themselves of the right type of food, and they may not get the lunch that day, but they are very happy in serving others. Dana, Daya and Dhamma incorporated into it forms the foundation, and that was so prevalent in a large scale in the societies. Unfortunately, the upbringing of the modern science and technology has made this almost an impossibility, and our mentality has changed, our mindset has changed, and we have become extremely selfish, and we have descended from sattva down to the rajasic level. We have become self-centered, and if only we can bring back this Pancha Mahayagnas into our lives, the society will be immaculately harmonious, wonderfully peaceful, and will become extremely healthy. Then we have the third, the Bhuta Yajna, our obligations towards our animals, insects, the birds, and all the other living things in the whole universe. Fortunately, we are slowly realizing the importance of preservation of the species, but in our anxiety and the fear and the possible dangers, we had started eliminating big species. The tigers have started vanishing from our front, the lions have started becoming a rarity, and slowly the elephant also was getting out of our reach. And when such things happen, then the nature lovers, the people who had great kindness and mercy to the animals, they formed teams and organizations and societies. They started talking about the hazards and dangers of removing such species, how they are going to bring ecological imbalance, how they bring tremendous amount of pollution, and how the whole imbalance will be set. And such efforts, such wonderful mass media awareness that were built, they all helped in making this country, this nation, this entire globe more and more livable by bringing back the balance. And that was part and parcel of our lifestyle in ancient times, and that is the Bhuta Yajna, our love for the animals, etc. in the society. Thus we have seen now that the movement from tamas to rajas, rajas to sattva is accomplished by various ways, removing our ignorance and darkness of tamas, making us brighter into the rajas, and removing the selfishness and the smallness and constrictedness of rajas in the sattva. That has been portrayed in these three schematics. The tamasic have the least personality expansion, rajas have a bigger personality under normal conditions, and the sattvic people has the biggest personality. Once they are put into action, the tamasic, there is tremendous resistance to action, they do not want to do any action, they want to escape the work, they are terrified about the problems and difficulties, and therefore their personality completely gets distorted when they are put into action. But the rajasic, they know how to channelize their energies, how to focus their energies, and there is tremendous focusing that takes place, and this is called dharana in Raja Yoga. All the energies which are being channelized in concentration now gets focused in the rajas. And when this focusing takes place, there is intensification of the energy, and this intensification of the energy will bring tremendous results and dividends. But the other face of the coin of the dharana or focusing is evolution and emergence of great tension, stress, and fitting into ourselves. Kriyate bahulayasam tad rajasamudahrutam. As we saw, it is the one that brings great tension and stresses and all the stress hazards that are prevalent today in the modern society: asthma, diabetes, hypertension, heart problem, epilepsy, migraine, cancer and AIDS notwithstanding, and that is the Rajasic society. Therefore, Krishna, the Lord of Karma Yoga, says, please move from rajas to sattva, and in sattva you are moving from selfishness to enlightened selfishness, or moving from selfishness, self-centeredness towards less selfishness, actions in which we care for others, share with others, give for others, control ourselves, dana, daya, dama. You are moving from a self-centered society towards a society in which you care for others, help others, and that is the selflessness. That forms the foundations of all religions, as we saw. There is less distortion because there is greater pervasiveness, greater expansion in the personality, and therefore people do the work in a more magnanimous way. This is how we move from tamas to rajas, rajas to sattva, which is the first phase of growth in karma yoga. But then people may be doing excellent work, the sattvic work, even such people may end up with conflicts. To convert every karma into a yoga, we have to first use desires and incentives to shatter the tamas. From there you go into the duty sense, karmanye vadhikaraste ma phaleshu, perform all actions in the sense of a duty, then perform actions for the good of others, and then the yagna technology which was used to transform the society in a big way, and then comes the conflict to help us to move from karma towards the higher dimension called the akarma. King karma khima karmeti kapayopyatra mohitaah tatte karma prabhakshami yajnatva mokshase shubhat. Shri Krishna says that even the brilliant of the people, even the best of the thinkers, kavayaha, abhi mohitaha bhavanti, they also get deluded, they also get confused, they also get into a big turmoil, they get into conflicts in understanding what is action, what is to be done, what is not to be done, kim karma, kim akarma. When they end up with such conflicts, then even the best of the people lose their heart. Person like Arjuna, he was collapsing, and then Krishna says, tatte karma pravakshyami, I am going to tell you the secret, I am going to tell you the way as to how one has to do the action by which all such problems are gone, all such conflicts will be removed from our midst. What are those conflicts? We can again recall, it could be a conflict between one ethics and another ethics, conflict between non-violence and truthfulness. It could be conflict between one truth and another truth, duty versus duty, duty versus ethics, and questioning the very foundations of ethics, very foundations of duty, and asking what is the meaning of life. Such could be the very, very intricate conflicts. Take for example, truth versus truth, one satya with another satya. There is the set of lawyers. The lawyers are very, very brilliant on the persons who have been charged with criminal thefts, criminal murders, and the lawyers want to prove that he is absolutely innocent. They provide such arguments, hearing with the judge will be bewildered, he will be surprised, he thinks, yes, probably this man is not the culprit. But then the prosecution side, the lawyers will come out and tell their truth. They will show all the evidences to show that this fellow is the murderer, he is the biggest of the culprit, he has to be punished. And the truth, two truths, which is the right truth? The judge is now in a mix, he is in a fix, he is in a turmoil, he is in a big conflict. Similarly, between one ethical norm and another ethical norm, satya and ahimsa, the person can be in great turmoil, great conflict. That is what happened to a surgeon. A good surgeon who understands his patient as a very nervous person, and if the person is told that he is suffering from cancer, then he will be lost to the world. He can no more take that shock, and his tumor will aggravate, and the doctor very well understands the role of mind in aggravation of the disease, and the psychoneuroimmunology is very well conversant. Therefore, what is to be done? Whether he should tell the truth and face the consequence that the patient may be dead, or should he speak the untruth and protect the patient from annihilation? What should he do? Whether he should resort to non-violence or should he resort to satya? A big conflict. Conflict between one duty and another duty, duty to the parents and duty to the nation. When Mahatma Gandhi called the youngsters to come and sacrifice their lives to get the freedom for the nation, millions and millions of people came forward. But there was a group of youngsters scattered in different places. They had a common problem, that their parents were very old, and the old parents were suffering from different ailments. What is to be done? Is it not our first duty to take care of the parents in the house, who are suffering rather than sacrifice to the nation. Though they were very much prepared to go to the nation for the national work, they were in a big turmoil. Similarly, the common problem, duty to the wife and duty to the mother in combined families, the husbands encounter this big conflict on a daily basis. He has a duty to the wife, at the same time he has duty to the mother, but always the quarrel breaks between the mother and the sister-in-law, the daughter-in-law, and when such things happen, what is to be done? Which duty has to be followed? Then conflict between duty versus ethics, as it happened to the biggest of the commander, the Arjuna, the bravest of the brave among the warriors. He had won several wars before. He had the biggest of the weapons, Gandiva, and now he is faced with a big conflict. When he faces his own teacher, Dronacharya, who taught him all the weaponry, and his family teacher, Kripacharya, and the great grandsire, the Bhishma, whom he revered and worshipped, all people in front of him, his heart now comes out with compassion and love, and there is a big conflict between the compassion and the love and the ethics with the duty. On one front, he has to perform his duty as a warrior. It is immaterial who comes in front of you. You have to kill them. You have to win the war. On the other side, his heart is bleeding with compassion and love. So he gets a doubt whether it is the humanitarian consideration that is more important or it is the duty sense. Same was the conflict of the pilot who bombed the Hiroshima, doing it with all the duty sense or should he show compassion? And questioning the very basis of ethics, students questioning everything today. We are in the age of science and questioning has been promoted, and they start questioning, why should I do that, why should I do that? If anybody says you have to go to the temple, you have to go to the mosque, you have to go to the church, you start asking the question, why I should do that? You should follow all the 10 commandments. Why should I follow? Should I follow only because Christ has told? Should I follow just because the Manu has shown? Questioning the very basis of ethics. And the duty. In India, we are a duty-oriented society, duty to the parents, children and everything. Why should I follow my duty? Should I not be a free bird? Why this imposition of duty? Questioning, questioning, questioning. And finally, the very meaning of life, as it happened to Sri Rama. At the age of 15, he had finished all his education, got tremendous laurels and awards. He had gone for a long pilgrimage with his parents and brothers. He returned, then came in his mind these subtle questions. What is the real meaning of life? Is it just to take birth, grow, educate ourselves, soon I am going to become a king, maybe marry and produce children and one day die? We are all puppets in the hands of the time. Is it just this or something else? He had no answer. He got into a deep melancholy, a great depression, and then the Vasishtha had to come and resolve his conflicts. Karma Yoga gives the secrets which we are going to study in the next session. Thank you.